Radioactive pollution has emerged as a serious environmental challenge with the expansion of nuclear technology, industrialization, and medical use of radiation. It involves the release of radioactive substances into air, water, or soil, where they emit ionizing radiation over long periods. Unlikely, many polluted radioactive contaminants persist for years or even centuries due to long half-lives, making their effects cumulative and often irreversible. Major nuclear accidents, radioactive waste mismanagement, and natural radioactive emissions have demonstrated that radioactive pollution poses long-term risk to human health, ecosystem, food security, and environmental stability across the world. Radioactive pollution. Radioactive pollution refers to the presence and accumulation of radioactive substances in the environment that emit harmful ionizing radiation beyond natural background levels. It occurs when unstable atomic nuclei release energy in the form of alpha, beta, or gamma radiation, contaminating air, water, soil, and living organisms. This pollution can originate from both natural processes such as cosmic radiation and radon release, and human activities like nuclear power generation, weapons testing, medical isotope use, and uranium mining. Once released, radioactive materials can enter food chains, remain biologically active for decades, and cause long-term genetic, ecological, and health consequences. Radioactive pollution types. Radioactive pollution can be classified based on radiation behavior, energy level, and interaction with matter, determining exposure risk, penetration capacity, and biological damage. Ionizing radiation pollution. This type includes radiation with enough energy to remove electrons from atoms, causing cellular damage, DNA breaks, mutations, and cancer, mainly from gamma rays, X-rays, alpha and beta particles. Non-ionizing radiation pollution. These radiations have lower energy and include radio waves and microwaves, which cause molecular excitation rather than ionization, posing comparatively lower but prolonged exposure risk. Alpha radiation pollution. Alpha particles are heavy, positively charged particles that have low penetration but cause severe internal damage when inhaled or ingested, interacting strongly with body tissues. Beta radiation pollution. Beta particles are high energy electrons that penetrate skin layers and damage living cells, posing moderate external and internal health risk depending on exposure duration. Gamma radiation pollution. Gamma rays are highly penetrating electromagnetic waves that pass through the human body and dense material, causing deep tissue damage. Radioactive pollution sources. Radioactive pollution originates from both natural background emissions and human-controlled technological activity that release radionuclides into the environment. Natural radioactive sources. Cosmic rays, radon gas from Earth crust, potassium-40, uranium, thorium, and radium naturally present in rocks and soil contribute to unavoidable background radiations. Nuclear power plants. Accident, leakage, and improper waste handling at reactors release radionuclides such as cesium-137 and iodine-131, contaminating land, water, and air for decades. Nuclear weapons testing. Atmospheric nuclear tests conducted between the 1950s and 1980s released massive radioactive fallout, increasing global carbon-14 levels and contaminating ecosystem worldwide. Uranium mining and processing. Extraction and refining of uranium and thorium generate radioactive tailings that emit radiation and contaminate groundwater if not properly managed. Medical and research activities. Improper disposal of radioactive isotopes used in cancer therapy, diagnostics, and laboratories contribute to localized radioactive contamination. Radioactive pollution agent. Radioactive pollution agents are unstable isotopes and radioactive materials that emit radiation during decay, causing biological and environmental hazards. Uranium isotopes. Uranium-238 and uranium-235 are naturally occurring radionuclides used in nuclear fuel, producing long-lasting radioactive waste with half-life spanning billions of years. Cesium-137. A major fission product released during nuclear accidents, cesium-137 has a half-life of about 30 years and contaminates soil, crops, and food chains. Iodine-131. This short-lived radionuclide accumulates in the thyroid gland, causing thyroid cancer and disorders, especially among children exposed after nuclear accidents. Plutonium-239 used in nuclear weapons and reactors. Plutonium-239 has a half-life of 24,000 years and poses extreme toxicity if inhaled or ingested. Radon-222, a naturally occurring radioactive gas from uranium decay. Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer globally after smoking. Radioactive pollution impacts. Radioactive pollution causes long-term biological, ecological, environmental, and psychological damage, with effects often appearing years after exposure. Human health effects. Ionizing radiation damages DNA, increases cancer risk, causes radiation sickness, thyroid disorders, infertility, and development abnormalities depending on dose and exposure duration. Genetic and hereditary damage. Radiation induces mutation in germ cells, leading to birth defects, inherited diseases, and genetic instability across generations. Environmental degradation. Radioactive contamination renders soil infertile, disrupts microbial activity, and reduces agricultural productivity for decades, as observed near Chernobyl. Ecosystem disruption. Bioaccumulation of radionuclides in plants and animals alters food chains, reduces biodiversity, and affects predator-prey balance in contaminated regions. Long-term land inaccessibility. High radiation zones remain uninhabitable for decades, such as areas exceeding 50 MSV per year near Fukushima and Chernobyl explosion zones. Psychological and social impact. Studies show anxiety, depression, social isolation, and fear of genetic damage often exceed direct physical radiation effects among displaced populations. Economic consequences. Decontamination, relocation, healthcare, and agricultural losses impose massive economic burdens, with Fukushima cleanup costs running into hundreds of billions of dollars. Internal contamination risk. Inhalation or ingestion of radioactive particles leads to committed radiation doses affecting organs over years, especially the thyroid, lungs, and bones. Global fallout spread. Atmospheric dispersion carries radioactive particles across continents, contaminating distant regions, oceans, and polar ice through long-range transport. Long waste management challenges. Spent nuclear fuel remains radioactive for thousands of years, requiring secure contaminant monitoring and advanced reprocessing technologies.